Hi, I'm Matt. This is my channel Sawdust Passion, and today I'm making a cupboard for my safety equipment and to charge my GoPros. So during lockdown I struggled quite a lot with my mental health, and as a result the workshop got in quite a state. As a first step to getting it back into order, I decided to start small and make a little box to put some of the bits that I'm always losing in. I found an offcut of 12mm plywood which I think will be a good size. I normally draw up plans for my projects, but for this one I'm making it up as I go along. So I'm placing the items on the board to get a feel for where they could go. I'm also including somewhere to put my wedding ring, as I keep forgetting to remove it when I'm in the shop, and a USB charger for the ISO tunes and the GoPros. It's not long before I decide I want it portrait, not landscape. Now I have a rough layout, start to work out where they'll sit. I'm using another piece of scrap to make a little shelf for the USB charger. For the ring, I decided to use a piece of dowel, cutting it at an angle so it doesn't fall off. At this point, I'm not attaching anything to the board. Next up, I create little shelves for both the GoPros. For the ISO tunes, I figure a couple of dowels will work quite well. For the RZ mask, I'm going to make a kind of towel rail. Have a piece of dowel for the mask to fold over, and I'm going to cut a block to raise it up. Finally, I set up for dowels for the safety glasses too. Next up, I start by adding mains to the USB hub. I'm going to hide all the wiring at the back, so I'll find a spade bit that will make a hole big enough for the flex to fit through. For the USB cables I'm doing the same, so they'll be hidden behind the cupboard too. I drilled 3 holes in line, and I'm next connecting them with a chisel and then cleaning it up with a file. It's at this point that I realised that I'm going to need more space for the wires, so I decided to move the GoPros above the power block. I'm drilling the same size hole so the USB cable can poke back through. I do the same for the second one. I then put the other items back on the board to check they all fit. As they do, I can now drill through for the final USB cable to charge the ISO tunes. Now I can start attaching everything to the base. For the shells I'm using glue and brads, making sure I leave space for the framing. I'm also using right angle to ensure the shelves are straight. Turns out the right angle is quite a good spacer too. For the ring holder, I'm drilling through and screwing it from behind. I then do the same for the mask rail. For the safety glasses, I fix the middle dowel and check that the side dowels are at the right height for my normal glasses too, so I can store them when I switch between them. Finally, I screw the dowel for the ISO tunes. So for the frame, I've cut some stock to rough length and cut a slot about 1/2 inch from the bottom wide enough for the base to slot into. I can then measure the gap between the sides and cut the top and bottom to final length. So I'm not sure if this is glass or perspex, so I'm not going to cut it. Luckily enough, it's going to fit. So I cut a second groove to allow the glass to slot in. Now I can glue it all up. I'm not going to reinforce the sides. If I have an issue later on, I will, but at the moment, it's just sitting on the wall. I don't think it'll be a problem. Once the glue is dry, I released the door using the table saw, but unfortunately, I didn't get any footage of this. I've now marked out where the hinges will go on the base, and I'm now freehand routing the majority away, having used the hinge to set the depth for the trim router. I can then clean up the joint with a chisel. I check out the door the right way around and mark out the hinges on that. I then use the same method on the door, routing the hinge and cleaning it up with a chisel. Next, I hold the hinge in place and use a self-centering bit to drill out the holes on the base and the door. Finally, I'm attaching a latch to the side to hold it closed and to use as a handle. To hang the cupboard, I've cut a small French cleat. I'm drilling one hole to the back of the cupboard and the other end is attached to the wall. The cupboard will simply sit on the cleat. For safety, I drop a screw in later so it can't be knocked off. For me, these simple projects are great for mental health, and I've really enjoyed making this, and it's really got me back into the mood of making. If you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Until next time, stay safe and follow your passion.